Let's get started. Okay, I have with me Garland Sullivan. $5 million, and is it 3 years? Scaling
This is
retail arbitrage expert, and I love it because like I was able to sustain myself after leaving my job with retail arbitrage. So I'm excited to have this conversation. Excited to have you here. Um, Welcome, man.
awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Do you want to tell people kind of like your quick story? How you able to start as a college grad and end up going to 5 million?
Yeah, sure. So basically, we started, right out of college full time. We were dabbling with Amazon FBA and out of our garage in college, and we met a friend of ours that was selling. He was probably 9 months ahead of us, and so we saw what he was doing, and we were like, you know what, we can make a business out of this. Let's do this. My business partner Max and I decided to team up together. We were roommates, and he was training for the Olympics after college for his country.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's why we were like, uh, someone's got to run the business. So I ran the business for the first year and a half, and then after that, he quit swimming and started running the business with me. And push come to shove, our first year we broke 1 million in revenue. Second year we more than doubled. We did 2.6 million. Following year we did 5.3, which was last year.
Wow. Congrats. Congrats.
Thanks.
That is some serious revenue generated doing retail arbitrage. So like in your very first year, you guys broke seven figures. Um,
Yes. The
do
first
you
full
want,
year we broke up some figures.
so do you want to kind of walk us through the process? Like how much of it was you kind of doing yourself? When did you decide, okay, I need to start hiring people? Um,
So it got to the point where, and especially if you're starting out with retail arbitrage, you're basically every day is a daily shopping spree. You go out
yeah.
to the store, you buy as much stuff as you can, and you bring it back to your house, and then you spend either the next day or the whole all night prepping and shipping it, getting it prepared to ship out the following day. And so it got to the point where I was buying so much stuff, it got to the point where I couldn't do the shipping anymore. So we hired a prepper to be that full-time person in the garage, basically a sweatshop. I mean, it was super hot in the middle of summer here in Florida, but man, we got the job done, and that was our first hire. Really, was a prepper.
At what point? At what point was that? Like, what month was that you?
So that was probably um beginning so our fifth month probably
Okay.
is was we when we hired a prepper.
Yeah.
Now we also had a roommate at the time that would work for us part time, who was also a swimmer. So he would help out with occasionally with prepping as we got to the point where we hired a full time person.
hmm hmm So, how many people are on your team now?
So I say we have our guys. We have 9 people in house in Jacksonville that work with us, work for us, but we also have a team of virtual assistants. We have satellite locations all over the country now for different retail arbitrage, basically satellite locations.
Okay. Um, I'm interested to know, how do you structure your deals with your employees? Like more so like the shoppers specifically.
So for shoppers, we basically pay them on a commission. Now it depends on if they are an hourly person or a salary person. So an
Okay.
hourly person is getting say basically an hourly wage plus commission. And
Yeah.
that would normally be around their commission. If they're getting hourly wage plus commission, they're getting 12% of gross profit. So this is
Okay.
after the product sells, they get paid on the gross profit of their products.
Okay.
Now, if you're a person that is a buyer, and you are dropping off at our warehouse, you're getting 17 straight commission of gross profit.
Oh, I see.
And then the people that are doing a satellite location, so if they're like say in Miami and they're only doing in Miami, uh, and they're doing their own prepping or doing their own paying for a prep center, they are paying they're getting 20% of gross profit.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. Cool. Um, so many different kind of levels, tiers to to those structures. And um, I've seen some pictures, like your Instagram account, and you like just post on Facebook. You guys do a tremendous amount of shoes.
yes.
Um, okay, first off, like I'm interested in like how do you walk through the process? So you have kind of a
Okay.
criteria, and then you give that list to your shoppers and say, we want these type of shoes, these colors. Tell me how you guys do
Absolutely not. Not anymore. So now, if you were to hire hourly buyers or hourly shoppers, I would recommend say that method of where you give them a list of products that you want.
it. Yeah.
Now they find all the products themselves. So they go into the store, they scan the products, they go through the processes of okay, this product's ranked X amount. Now the beauty of what we have is we have a team that is by a computer that is able to answer to these guys that are in the store
Oh,
to
smart.
give them the variation, which variations are the most popular, which sizes are the most popular, and also um, the ranking and the amount of sales per month on average based on Jungle Scout,
Hmm.
market intelligence,
Hmm.
whatnot. Yes.
Yeah, that's so smart. 'Cause I remember spending so much time looking at variations, and I'd be like connecting to on my phone through TeamViewer to my PC. So I'd be trying to
Mm-hmm.
search it all myself. So I mean, it's such a smart
Huge pain in the butt.
way to do it. Yeah,
Huge pain in the butt.
smart way to do
So definitely having that person at the computer checking over what you're buying to double check to guarantee that you can sell that item, you can move that product, you can have that variation being the most popular
it.
is a huge help for our shoppers. Now, obviously, our shoppers, most of our tenured shoppers, our guys that have been with us for about 6 months to a year or longer. They know what they're doing. They have people under them that are buying.
Yeah,
They know their inventory. They're constantly analyzing their inventory because they're paid off of gross profit. So they want to make sure their inventory is priced correctly. If it's priced too low, they're usually complaining or saying, "Hey, we need to change the price."
yeah.
Uh, yeah,
How much of the stuff that you do are like trendy stuff, new stuff that you hear the news and like let's jump on that. X is on sale. You jump on that, or
very rarely, very rarely. So most of the time, we mainly just focus on whatever. We don't really even go after the trends. We just go whatever is in the store. And now, of course, that's an exception during Q4 when you have, you know, Christmas coming around,
yeah.
Black Friday. You have lists of products that you might want to purchase, especially during Black Friday or something.
Right, right. So I was alluding to that a little bit. I think you mentioned too that you have people kind of in multiple cities across the country.
Hmm.
So how does that work? Like you,
So when they first come on board, they're basically shown everything, how to do everything. They go through the process. We're there to kind of like hold their hand, or a tenured shopper is there to hold their hand and going through the process of going, hey, buying this product at the store, understanding, hey, checking how much inventory is there, checking sales rank, checking Keepa, and making sure that those products are good purchases.
okay.
And then once they get an understanding, so we try to teach them as they buy for us, okay, this is why we bought this. And
Mhm.
that way they can start thinking like we're thinking to help them make good buying decisions.
Right. It just reminds me a little bit. I know, like here, like Dixon and I have done a lot of RA and OA in the past. So, like you said, during like a Q4, we'll have to hit or have other shoppers help us hit like multiple stores at once. And I just think like you guys can do just like so much volume because you have a setup across country essentially.
That is a big thing. Also, our criteria, I would say, is different than most. A lot of people, when you go for, like, say, for shoes, we try to stay at 75% ROI or higher. Everything else, 50% ROI or higher, unless it's wholesale.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, oh, while we're on the topic of shoes, do
Okay.
you want to talk about Fighting IP claims and how like I think one of the top questions people had was like how do you scale to the level that you're at and still have like a healthy account?
So that's a great question, and the biggest thing, honestly, is responding quickly. Amazon wants to see that you are actively on top of your stuff.
Mhm.
So if you're on top of any kind of IP claim that comes through, if you show them and say, "Hey, look, obviously this is," now obviously there's some brands that are much more strict. So like for us, a good example is the North Face is not that strict. They're gonna blow you up with a bunch of IP complaints and say that they own like are actually legit trying to hit you with an IP, but really they're not that difficult or really serious. Now,
Mhm.
where someone else would be, for example, um, Skull Candy, on the other hand, Skull Candy and the headphone company,
Yeah.
man, they are the real deal. Don't mess with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
so, so honestly, as long as you're quick to respond to Amazon, say, "Hey, look, yeah, I'm actually buying this from a direct distributor. That are this is authentic product. I have the rights to sell it." Uh, then you can prove it. And sometimes, most of the time, or we've seen that receipts do work. Um, but yeah, that's what
So
we do.
do you have like kind of a whole process where pictures are taken of the receipts with like barcode of the shoe or whatnot just to have
100%.
everything synced?
So the only ones that we don't take pictures, so for example, Nike or that has UPC on the actual receipt, we
Yeah.
don't take pictures of those. But the ones that like say Marshalls,
Yeah.
we would take a picture with with the barcode or the Marshalls tag, and that Marshalls tag matches up to the receipt.
Yeah.
So we would have a picture with the Marshalls tag and the item. That way we can match up to the receipt and show them, hey, obviously this is the same item, this is the correct item, and we fight it that way, and it's worked.
What what percentage, maybe not percentage, but like let's how many IP claims have you had in the past like month?
That's a good question. Probably around six.
Okay, that's not too bad. Just I imagine the volume that you guys are doing.
I'm not the person to ask for that question.
Yeah,
Honestly,
you
I
wouldn't be though.
we have people that are on it. So Tiffany, she's on it 100%
Yeah.
for IP or any kind of performance notification that we get. So
Mhm.
she would know better than me, but if I had to guess, probably around six.
Now that you've gotten to the point that you are with your business and the team that you have around you, would you say you would have made the same hiring decisions? Not necessarily the people would have made, but the position?
Uh,
Or would you have said,
yes.
would have hired this person first? Maybe I should have.
Going back, if there was one thing that we should have done from the very beginning, would be a bookkeeper. We were really messy with our books for the
Mhm.
first year and a half. Really
I can
first
relate.
2 years. So, and I can't stress that enough. Is making sure that whoever you end up using, that you are on top of your books, know where you stand,
Mhm.
know where you need to be, and be on top of it, because that's so important. Know your cash flow. Cash flow is king. That's the only way that you're going to be able to scale your business, unless you just take out a huge loan and risk it for the biscuit. Now,
Mhm.
if you're on top of your cash flow and you really know how much product you're moving, how much cash you're getting in, how much you're spending, you can really get an idea of if you're actually scaling or just getting more and more in debt.
Yeah, yeah, good answer.
That would
Um,
be that'd be the one hire I would have definitely wish I had gotten a better foundation from the start. But now we
um,
have it taken care of.
yeah. So like I host a monthly meetup here in Toronto, and I meet new people all the time who are looking at start. And I always tell them start with doing some retail arbitrage first, kind of really learning and understanding that. What are a couple tips that you can give to people who are starting out now? Obviously, it's a lot more difficult now than it was 2 3 years ago. Exponentially
Yeah.
more difficult, a lot more obstacles. So a couple of quick tips for newer people.
So the biggest thing on starting out is just scanning every single product and making sure that you're able to sell it. And I think a lot of people end up jumping in and they think they can get away with this and or be able to list a brand just because they see someone else sell it. That's not always the case like it used to be.
Mhm.
So when for those people that started 3 years ago or 2 years ago, and maybe even a year ago, they have brands that they're grandfathered in on, and that's a big thing that you really need to be on top of when you're joining or starting out.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't need the problems of all these inauthentic and IP claims, especially when you're just starting out.
Also, be on top of performance certification. Oh yeah, just be on top of knowing what you're doing with a performance certification. That's why when we started out, can you still hear me very well?
Yeah.
When we started out, we we got suspended. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't even know what an IP complaint was
Oh,
or
you
any
guys
kind
got
of performance
suspended?
certification. Oh yeah, first year in, we got suspended. We were down twice in the first year because we didn't know what we were doing.
So you got
So
suspended 2 times.
twice, and the
Okay.
worst times ever.
Okay. Do
So
you, do you want to talk about that? Let's talk about okay,
yeah,
the first time
heck
you were
yeah.
suspended.
Okay, first time we were suspended. We thought we were doing everything right. Everything's going good. Our business is booming, and this was 2015. So we
Okay.
started late. We started in August of 14, but
Okay.
I don't consider that first 5 months actual business work
Yeah.
because we didn't know what we were doing. Uh, then we really started to really get the hang of what we were doing. And so our first full year was 2015. And so in 2015, we were suspended from July 29th to August 18th. And so that
Okay.
was 20 days down then. And this is during back to school when all we're selling is,
Yeah.
sports and outdoors, clothing, and shoes.
Yeah.
So we thought we had it made with shoes, we're killing it. And next thing you know, we get smacked with a
Damn.
suspension. So, and this was right at the point where like we're probably doing about a little over 100K a month. Uh, we probably broke 100K barely for July, and then we got suspended. We get
Damn.
suspended, and back to school is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like almost a mini Q4,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and so and we get hit, and we didn't really know why. Honestly, we didn't even know what a performance notification was, and so we have this performance. We get hit with a performance notification, and we try to respond to it. We hired Jennifer Colson. Jennifer Colson at the time killed it for us. She got us back up in 20
Nice.
20 days basically, and and we're like, okay, well, we made it past that one, so let's keep going.
Yeah.
Next thing, the second suspension.
Sorry.
This
Sorry. Can I?
one's
Sorry. Can I
yeah,
interrupt you for a second?
yeah.
How much did you pay her?
I paid her $800.
Okay. But this
Now
is also
that's
way back in
This is
2015.
back when it doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Now
it
it's
was
thousands of dollars to get
yeah, yeah, I
unsuspended.
can imagine.
Yeah.
And the process was like she kind of wrote the appeal.
Yes. So she wrote our appeal and plan of action. So those were the two things that she really took care of,
Okay.
and really, kind of we just waited, and we just waited until Amazon
Yeah.
responded, and basically after 21 days or 20 days, we were back up.
Okay.
And we were suspended for an authentic claim on Nike products. We are also not doing a job of making sure our products were perfect to be sent in for FBA.
Mhm.
And that's another thing I can't stress enough, is making sure that, like, after that, after our second one, we really stepped up our game, where because the first one, it's more of like a slap on the wrist. Okay, we didn't really understand exactly, why our customer thought our product was inauthentic.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, uh, so then we got suspended the second time.
Okay.
Second time was completely different. So up until this point in our business, we hadn't taken on money. We first took on, or we took, we got a cousin, like our cousin gave us some money, like 20 grand. My aunt gave me a credit card that had a 20 grand credit limit. So we had some cash and we had some credit card money that we could tap into. But up until then, we didn't take money outside of family, outside of friend, or really outside of family.
Mhm.
So we got this loan from a loan shark, and I kid you not, this hit our we started talking with him at the beginning of September, and after our second meeting, he was like, you know what, guys, I'm gonna give you money, and we're like, okay, we only wanted $100,000.
Yeah.
So he's like, you know what, I believe in you guys. You're gonna kill it. I'm gonna give you 400,000 line of credit. And so, and we both, like myself and Max, both look at each other like, holy cow, that's a lot of money, you know. And I thought when I first got that $100,000 check, we both looked at each other like, holy cow, this is
Yeah,
real, you know.
yeah, awesome.
But we walk into this guy's office. He has got long white hair. He's got a sapphire on his hand as big as your fist. He's got a gold chain. His shirt is unbuttoned down to his belly button,
Oh,
and he's got two guns sitting behind him. He has a cigar in one hand, and he has a seat. He has a seat so that his seat is really high and yours is really low. So you're already inferior just being in the room with him. And so we go and meet with him. He decides to give us funds, and we take the 100,000, and within 2 weeks we spend it all. And I go back to him. I grab another 150,000. I mean 125,000. So we took out total of $225,000.
uh-huh.
And this is so our first one was October 1st. I come back to him around the October 20th on my first payment.
Mm-hmm.
So we were paying him monthly to pay him off.
Yeah.
And so we take out more money, and within we get suspended November 17th. So worst timing ever, basically.
And just when you got the or just when you took out money the second time as well.
Yes, and so I'm so lucky that we got paid literally the day before. So we got paid the day before. We get suspended, and I had to pay the guy money to
Man.
pay. So we had just enough. We had $3,000 to spare. It was a $50,000 check we had to pay him for the month of November.
Yikes.
And we had $53,000.
Yikes.
So that $50,000 went straight to paying him, and I had to go in the meeting acting like everything was fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I had to go like, yeah, we're killing it. We're doing good. And I'm like, and in the pit of my stomach, you know, I'm like, dang, this is not a good idea. Okay, let's see what happens. And so, push comes to shove, you know, we go to Jennifer Colson again. We're like, please, we need all the help we can get.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can work some magic, call someone. I was this close to flying out to Amazon myself. And so we were down from the 17th to the 7th of December. So,
man.
missing Black Friday, missing Cyber Monday. And so, like, you know, we missed like the two biggest parts of the year, back to school and freaking Q4, basically.
Yeah.
And I have to come up with this money to pay him by the 20th of December. So luckily we had so much inventory in stock. As soon as we were live on December 7th, we had our largest sales day ever. We killed it. And we got just enough money to pay him back for our deposit on the 17th or whatever it was, to pay him back on the 20th. and then we had that meeting. We told him the whole story, and when he looked at us, he took a long puff of his cigar and he blew it out, and he just gave this huge big smirk and looked at us. He's like, well done, guys.
Man, I swear that you took me through like a movie. That story can be like made into a movie, man.
For real. It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah.
I got some more questions for you. Oh, so I hear that I think you had some PO products come in.
Yeah. We just got some PL products in just the other day. I don't know if you saw the video I posted, but I went live and I showed some PL products.
So we've talked a lot about like the past of your business. Let's talk about the future, because like with RA, it's one of those things where people tell me you can't scale, and when people tell me you can't scale RA, I'm like, well, Garland has scaled that pretty nicely, right? But the thing is, at this point, would someone come in an investor, somebody looking to buy a business, buy an RA business?
You know, I've been wondering the same thing, honestly. And the funny thing is, one of my friends, uh, he's in part of a mastermind that I'm part of. I'm part of this mastermind called MDS. It's called Million Dollar Sellers.
Mhm.
And one of the guys in there, his first company on selling on Amazon he bought an RA business.
Oh,
And I was like,
really?
no way. And then he just recently sold. So he's been selling for 4 years, 3 years, first year RA, and then he shifted into private label and sold his business. He sold his private label business. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
Very cool.
to go from buying an RA business to
Yeah.
selling a private label. So I guess there are buyers. I think what we have to really remind ourselves is, one, people want to buy the system.
Yes.
Also, people want to buy money or cash, cash flow positive businesses.
Mhm.
So if a business generates cash, people are interested in it, no matter what.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what type of business. If it generates cash, people are interested.
Good point.
Now, you're not going to get the multiple that you're going to get, say, in a private label business, where you are providing value by making a brand. You are building a brand.
Mhm.
You're building value. You are beating out competition. Whereas what I'm doing, or what we are doing with buying and selling other people's brands, we're just taking advantage of the market.
Yeah.
And so when we take advantage of the market, it's not nearly the same.
Also.
You know, we're just capitalizing on the opportunity.
Yeah. So is this kind of your foray, your transition into private label then?
So we started with private label back in 15. Our first product was a pasta maker, and we never really, pushed it. It was funny. We got into private label. We got this pasta maker, and funny enough, it killed it. And but we at the time we were just like, whatever, that was cool. Let's reorder, and that was basically it.
Hmm.
So we reordered, and next thing you know, there was more competition. It just never got back to where it used to be. But we just never got. I mean, looking back, I mean, if we just gotten more involved in private label, then we probably have sold a couple businesses by
Yeah.
now.
No kidding. No kidding. So are you now looking to kind of get out of RA, transition, or what are your plans?
We are not trans. I mean, I would say my focus right now, right this very second, is our course. We're launching Seller Systems. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but
Tell me
Seller
about it.
Systems.
I've
So
heard of it.
Seller
I've heard of
Systems.
it. Maybe our
Okay.
audience hasn't. Yeah. Tell me.
So Seller Systems is basically, there was two reasons why we started it, and uh, one of the main reasons was we saw this other company out there scamming people. It's called Seller's Playbook was the one that we went to, and we went to their seminar. They get on live on the radio. They blow up a city, and they say, hey, you're gonna learn. You're gonna come to this free workshop, and at the end of it, so we had myself and then several employees. We all went to it, and we wrote down all the lies that they basically did, and all this. We were like, dang, that's messed up,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. Yeah. I can hear you.
okay, so basically, we were writing down all the things that they were lying about, and we were just like, man, this is like really jacked up. I can't believe they're doing this. And we saw how many people were signing up for this. It was ridiculous.
Oh man.
They had hundreds of people paying thousands of dollars and scamming people. And I was just like, this is ridiculous.
I feel the pain. Trust me, I feel the pain. There's to our group. There's people who are post every now and again about getting scammed by someone locally, or someone's about to go to like a seminar, and they have like just crazy upsell. People are signing up to it. And
So
it just gives our industry a bad.
I was just like, man, this is ridiculous. And so we looked at each other. We were like, man, we need to do this. I know that what we do works.
Yeah.
What our model works. What we're doing is working. We are scaling tremendously every year, continuously.
Yeah.
And if I can instill that with the people that are going to these things,
Okay.
I would love to be able to help them. And then, so the other thing was, we saw all these gurus, you know, like talking the talk, but not actually doing it. So there's a bunch of people that are like teachers. I mean, I'll help. I used to help a ton of people that would just call me and I would help them. You know, I still do,
Yeah.
but it got to the point where a lot of people were calling me for help, and I was taking away from my business for helping people.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, I mean, we have a significant team now. We have a solid company where I can now spend more time towards helping more people,
Mm-hmm.
and really that was another big thing. I was just like, man, a lot of times, like, we see all these gurus, they aren't actually doing it. They're just preaching it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like, we're doing it. We're not really teachers, but if you want to learn what we're doing, I'm just going to show you what I'm doing, and then it works. You know, that's kind of what the whole idea is. Really.
Do you want to talk a little bit more in depth about Seller Systems?
Yeah, so Solar Systems, there's 3 people. It's Brandon Young, who's taking the private label side of it, and so, like, obviously, or I haven't told you more about my private label since 2015, but since 2015, our top product, we're close to 100K a month in private label now,
Sweet.
and so and we're also close to 100K a month in wholesale. So we're really pushing wholesale and private label. And that's, you know, our team is really doing that. It's not me behind it all. We built a team, we built a structure, and now we're executing. And so, and I can't, like, push that enough, is build your team. You know, the people that you can easily do it. You can outsource a lot of things, and you can easily find good people. And so Brandon Young, he's obviously done much more private label than we have. We didn't feel comfortable teaching it ourselves because, you know, he's probably on track to pretty dang close to 10 million in revenue just in private label. We'll be, our goal is to break 10 million also this year on the reselling side of the business. Yeah. So I really think with us coming together, we'll provide information on OA, RA, and wholesale, whereas he will tackle the private label. Yeah. And we'll see where it goes.
That's awesome.
Oh no. Sorry, go for it.
Do you have any questions, guys, from our members of our group, participants? If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Dixon says he wants to know about your RA systems a little bit more because he says he thinks you spend around 5 hours a week managing it.
So basically, the biggest thing is once you figure out what you're doing. So, like, for example, our whole system, I'll tell you right now. So we have our criteria for our buying. So whenever we do buy, we try to buy about what 60 days worth of inventory would be. Now, obviously, we break that rule on some scenarios, like Nike Friends and Family Sale. Yeah. We'll break that rule. But for the most part, we only shoot for about 60 days worth of inventory. So that way it keeps us from going too deep on products, and it also keeps us on getting that cash flow back really quickly. So, for example, if a product is selling 100 a month and there's only one seller, we would buy 100 for those 2 months, basically.
I see.
You know, because you're sharing the buy box with that person. Yeah. So if I was sharing the buy box, I'm only going to sell 50, and for 2 months, I'm now selling 100. So I would buy 100 deep.
Yeah.
Now, we also do a good search on how much stock that our competitors have. So we make sure we'll use Amzpecty, Amzpecty, to look at the inventory of our competitors. We also use Revseller to check which variation is the most popular. We usually go after the most popular variations and really try to, turn our inventory.
Yeah.
That's our main thing. So right there, that's so then we use that data off of Jungle Scout and market intelligence to make a good decision on that 60-day life of an inventory, and also spreads our risk a lot less. So
Yeah.
if it doesn't sell for some reason, and also the big thing is on our guys that are buying, they're getting paid on only items that sell.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting paid on gross profit, so they want to make.
Yeah, they're incentivized. They want to choose the right product.
They want it to sell, and they also want it to be high value. So it's a great win-win,
ASP, yeah. So you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
amzpecty.com. Obviously,
Yep.
Revseller.
Amzpecty.
Revseller, crucial for the variations.
Yes.
What other?
Love Revseller. We also use Tactical Arbitrage for online arbitrage.
Okay.
I would say for a big thing on online arbitrage is Cashback Monitor. If you're not using Cashback Monitor, definitely check out Cashback Monitor. You're going to be able to save tons of percentage on getting cashback on your buys.
Yeah.
Huge. And then for RA, I like Gift Cards In. We have a great relationship with them, but we always check on Gift Card Granny to see what we can do and get the best deal possible.
Yeah. Okay. Do you do?
Let me talk about my process. Oh wait, I didn't answer your question, Dixon. I'm sorry, but that's on the buying side criteria of our processes. But on the inventory processes, like say we would, when the guys buy, we label each bag as a receipt. So let's say we have this tag that goes on that bag that matches up with that receipt. So that person may buy it. So let's just say Raymond bought it. It would be Raymond _ Polo _ the date _ the time on that tag for all those bags in that shop on that receipt.
Mm-hmm.
Then they would be, when they're scanned into Evernote, the receipt scanned into Evernote. Once it's scanned into Evernote, we can use that as a searchable PDF. Also, that title of that receipt matches those tags. That's the key.
Okay.
So now as it gets processed, we have two piles that come across while we're processing. We have the pile where it was a bad buy, has a blemish on it, it isn't a good purchase, and it has to be returned to the store. So we have a return pile, and so then that tag or another tag is put on that return pile under that person's name. That way each person is accountable for their stuff that's returned or in the return pile. Then we have another pile for too much inventory in stock. So we have where you can't send any more inventory because Amazon's saying, you know what, you already have enough here, so you gotta have this pile here for all your too large of inventory, maximum inventory. Mm-hmm. And then that's basically it. And so then we scan into Inventory Lab. In Inventory Lab, we don't create the shipment, so we just scan it in for accounting purposes because Inventory Lab is first in, first out. That way it allows any of our guys to buy the same product and at different prices to track each and every single one. Also, we do all of our shipments through scan and ship. So once we put it in Inventory Lab, we close the batch, and then we scan it in through scan and ship. And we just we also label all of our products. We don't do any commingled. So we label it, scan it, and then fill up the box. Once it's at 50 pounds, we move on to the next box.
Okay. Right, well, you guys got a legitimate system down. Good job. Good work, guys.
We're trying.
Do you source anything in Canada?
Not as at the moment.
Okay, stay out. I have an interesting question. So, does any of your PL ideas come directly from the fact that you source RA away?
Yes.
Nice.
100%.
Nice.
But our current PL products that we currently have did not come from that.
Okay. Okay, you mentioned the RA versus wholesale versus private label revenue. In terms of how much time that's being allocated to those
so
three?
Now, yeah. So for me, my time spent on making sure this course is finished. We're supposed to launch July 1st. We are right at 40 signups so far.
Nice.
So we're right at 40 signups. We're limiting it at 50. But for wholesale, we have one guy that just does wholesale, straight up only does wholesale.
Okay.
Now he'll do some RA sometimes, but we have a retail store, so we have a retail store that helps get wholesale, and he just makes calls all day, and then goes to shows, and so he does that. And then we have one of our other main buyers has buyers underneath him, and he also has his own does a lot of retail and wholesale. So those guys work together a lot. And then we're building out our PL system basically within our in-house system now.
I see.
So like we're obviously what we're doing with PL works. We're not there with like what we have with RA or on the reselling side of the business.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Your retail shop. So that's used obviously to help kind of with the relationship with getting wholesale accounts.
Yes, 100%.
What else is it useful for?
That's about it. Honestly, because a lot of as you get more and more involved with wholesale, a lot of people don't want to buy or sell to Amazon sellers.
Yeah.
And so you're going to find that more and more brands are getting more and more aware about Amazon sellers. So they don't want to sell to just another Amazon seller.
Yeah.
They want to have some sort of reason to sell for you. Well, we found that having a retail store is a great way to get in.
Yeah. So that's kind of like a barrier to entry for other people, right? Just a little bit of like leverage you can use sets you apart from a seller who doesn't have a brick and mortar store.
That, and a lot of another big thing is a lot of the reps can't sell to if you don't have a brick and mortar store. Mm-hmm. So they want you to have a brick and mortar store, and that way, whenever they say, "Hey, look, I really want to buy this product, or I really want to have this account come in, but I can't open it because you don't have a brick and mortar presence."
Yeah.
So as soon as you have a brick and mortar presence, it's like, "Oh, okay, we'd love to have you.
Yeah.
Come on board."
Yeah. Just take you more seriously.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to give maybe like 10 seconds to see if there's any questions that are coming in. Do you have instances where you can sell in your brick and mortar store but not for Amazon?
No. But basically, the only reason we have the brick and mortar store is for Amazon. Now, there are some... Wait, could you repeat the question real quick?
Do you have any instances where you can sell in your physical store but not on Amazon?
Well, the beauty of our brick and mortar store is that it's a completely separate business. So it's not that company selling on Amazon. So because that company is not the one selling on Amazon, it also opens the door to sell to our other company that does sell on Amazon.
I see.
That way, there's no... Because I would feel... Well, oftentimes, it's kind of bad, like you're thinking, man, I'm lying to these people, but 9 times out of 10, the reps are the ones telling you what to do.
Yeah.
Because the reps are guys that are getting paid on commission. They want to make the sale, and it's really important for them to build that relationship with more people in more areas of their area. Mm-hmm. Well, oftentimes they don't have any more people to sell to, and so if you can, and then what we're doing also is we approach it from our other business too. So we have our retail store, and then we have our Amazon business, obviously. Yeah. So we offer brand management for that retail store or for those products.
Yeah.
So that way we can kind of hopefully provide more value and show them, like, look, obviously I'm still buying this product, and they don't know how I'm getting it, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so that's another issue and proving to them, like, look, obviously your product could be gated or could be brand registered for like exclusives on Amazon, and you wouldn't have any kind of problems of Amazon sellers. We'd love to help you with that process.
Yeah.
and then they're like, oh wow, these guys know what they're doing.
I love that you're doing that. Dix and I have started helping out companies recently with getting more presence online. So I love that you kind of you're dipping your toes and everything, but you're doing everything so successfully. So you're an inspiration, man.
Well,
Um,
thanks. I also like another thing on the retail store is like know your risk tolerance. You know, if you're okay with a brand shutting you down, go for it. If you're not okay with that, then don't. It's not something for you to really dabble in.
hmm Good point. So I've noticed that you're doing a little bit more like public speaking. Is that something that's new? You're starting to do that now?
I'm getting the hang of it. I'm not that good yet.
Yeah.
I'm my
Oh,
first time.
you know what? I've heard from other people who have heard you speak that you're awesome. So, um,
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate
yeah,
that. That's actually really encouraging. For real.
it's
I
I know it. So we run a conference, so we're looking to have you probably next year when we do run it. So
oh heck yeah, we'll love to be there for
nice,
sure.
nice.
I think the biggest thing is I know that my speech wasn't that good, but if I can really provide as much value as I can in that time frame that I'm up there,
Yeah.
that's the most important thing.
Well, there you go. Then
Any
that's what makes your speech good.
yeah, exactly. So I could be a horrible speaker, but if I provide value, they might want to
That's
listen.
all
You
that
know?
matters, man. They want genuine and lots of value. Um,
Yes.
so you know what? I can see that it's getting dark behind you, and I think
I the guy's turning off the lights, man. I don't know what's happened. I was like, dang, I got this spot because there was good lighting, and I'm like, dang, I'm trying to get closer to the light.
no, it's all
I
good.
don't know.
We're approaching the hour mark, and you've provided a ton of value here, man. I really appreciate your time. Um, and shoot, I look forward to following along your journey. Um, good luck on your course. Good luck on your course. I know you guys are gonna kill it. Um,
Thank you so much.
yeah, and yeah, I'm gonna hold you accountable next year at a conference you're gonna speak.
Okay,
But thanks
so
again.
it will be better than Rocky Mountain, 100%. Better than Rocky Mountain.
Nice. Okay,
But
man. I really appreciate your time.
no, dang, thank you, Dixon. Thank you so much for having me on here. I love talking with you guys. I love connecting with more people. If I can be of any help, please reach out.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Garland.
See y'all. Bye.
Take care, guys.